Your mom has been putting iceberg lettuce in a bowl with Hidden Valley Ranch and calling it a salad your whole life. The lettuce was always fine. It's the dressing on it we need to talk about. Salad dressing is the most overlooked villain in the American kitchen. Not because it's the worst thing you eat, but because it hides behind the one food everyone agrees is healthy. You ordered the salad. You skipped the fries. You made the responsible choice. And then you drowned your greens in a factory-made emulsion of soybean oil, sugar, and stabilizing chemicals, and called it a healthy lunch. Subscribe because we're pulling the label off the bottle. Ranch, Caesar, blue cheese in a bottle. For most of human history, dressing a salad meant pouring something real on it. A good oil, an acid, maybe a crushed clove of garlic. 3 ingredients. 5 at most. Then, on a summer night in July 1924, a man named Cesar Cardini ran out of supplies at his restaurant in Tijuana, Mexico. He went into the kitchen with what was left: romaine, olive oil, lemon juice, Worcestershire sauce, raw egg yolk, parmesan, black pepper, garlic, and improvised. He tossed it tableside, let the egg yolk and olive oil emulsify naturally, and served it. People drove hundreds of miles to eat that salad. That's what a real Caesar dressing is. A handful of honest ingredients doing remarkable things together at the table. The egg yolk holds the oil and lemon in suspension. The Worcestershire brings fermented depth. The Parmesan brings salt and funk and fat all at once. There's no shelf life. It doesn't survive the night because it was never supposed to. Now pick up a bottle of Ken's Steakhouse Caesar and read the back. What it takes to put Cardini's tableside recipe into something that survives 18 months in a grocery warehouse is the key to understanding everything fake about modern salad dressing. And the list is long. The olive oil becomes soybean oil because soybean oil doesn't go rancid on a shelf. The egg yolk emulsifier becomes a stabilized blend of xanthan gum and modified food starch, which can hold an emulsion for 18 months. The fresh lemon becomes distilled vinegar and citric acid. And to prevent the metal ions in water from degrading the product over time, manufacturers add disodium EDTA, a chelating agent also used in cosmetics and personal care products to stabilize formulas. It's in your Caesar dressing for the same reason it's in your shampoo. It makes things last longer. Hidden Valley Ranch has the same story, just dressed in different clothes. Steve Henson, a plumber and cook from Alaska, developed the original recipe in the early 1950s while cooking for a remote construction crew. He added dried herbs, stirred into real buttermilk, and egg yolk mayo. When he and his wife opened Hidden Valley Ranch in Santa Barbara in 1954 and started selling the seasoning packets, people went wild. It was genuinely good. Real tang from real buttermilk, real richness from real mayo. Then it went industrial. To take Henson's recipe and put it in a bottle that doesn't need refrigeration until opened and lasts months after, you have to replace the buttermilk with something shelf-stable, swap the real mayo for more stable chemicals, trade the olive oil for soybean oil, and then add the gums, starches, and EDTA needed to hold the whole structure together through temperature changes, shipping, and whatever your pantry throws at it. Your mom's ranch on iceberg wasn't a bad instinct. The instinct to add fat and flavor to raw greens so they're actually enjoyable to eat is a good one. The problem is that the bottle she was reaching for had quietly replaced every real ingredient in Steve Henson's recipe with something more stable, cheaper, and a long way from food. There's a category of salad dressings where sugar is so dominant that the connection to actual salad is mostly philosophical. Thousand Island is the clearest example. The original recipe, invented in the Thousand Islands region between New York and Ontario around the turn of the 20th century, was a simple blend of mayonnaise, ketchup, hard-boiled egg, sweet pickle relish, and a little Worcestershire. Real ingredients doing straightforward work. Open a bottle of Kraft Thousand Island or Ken's Thousand Island today, and you're looking at something built around high-fructose corn syrup and artificial sweeteners that make the whole thing taste more like a tomato candy. Wishbone's version follows the same formula. The sweetness is the first thing you taste, the last thing you taste, and most of what happens in between. Then there's Wishbone French dressing. that bright orange bottle that has been on American tables since the 1950s. It has nothing to do with France. It's a sweetened tomato and oil emulsion invented by American food manufacturers and given the word French to make it sound like it came from somewhere with taste. Kraft Catalina is its more honest cousin. Kraft literally invented and trademarked it in 1962. Born entirely in a bottle with no culinary tradition to borrow from at all. At least Catalina stopped pretending. Honey mustard dressings live here too. Most of them put sugar or corn syrup before honey on the ingredient list. Hidden Valley Honey Mustard Dressing, Ken's Honey Mustard. Same story, now in a larger bottle poured over salads by people who think they're being responsible. The candy dressing trap is particularly cruel because these are the dressings that tend to appeal to people who don't like vegetables. They make salad palatable for picky eaters by making it taste like something else. But if the dressing is doing more metabolic damage than the fries you skipped, the salad is doing less work than you think. If your dressing glows orange, comes out syrupy, and would taste fine on vanilla ice cream, it's not really a salad dressing. The 1990s were a strange time for food. Fat had been declared the enemy. Dietary fat caused heart disease, caused obesity, caused everything. Salad dressing was caught in the crossfire because most of it is mostly oil. So the food industry did what it always does when it's told to remove something. It removed the fat and replaced it with things that kept the experience intact without the offending macronutrient. Kraft Fat-Free Italian, Hidden Valley Fat-Free Ranch, Ken's Light Caesar, Wishbone Fat-Free Italian. Every major dressing brand rolled out a lighter version. Some still exist because the demand never went away. When you remove the fat or olive oil to make fat-free Italian, you remove most of the product. To maintain volume, texture, and flavor, manufacturers added water, corn syrup, or sugar to maintain body and palatability, modified food starch to replace the thickness that oil provided, and additional salt and natural flavor to compensate for the flatness of a product that's now mostly water. A standard full-fat Italian dressing might have 60 to 80 calories per tablespoon, mostly from oil. A fat-free version might have 15 to 20 calories per tablespoon, mostly from sugar and starch. For someone simply watching calories in a very narrow sense, that swap looks like progress. For someone managing blood sugar or insulin sensitivity, trading fat for sugar and starch is arguably a worse outcome. Fat doesn't spike blood glucose. Sugar and modified starch do. Bolthouse Farms entered this space with yogurt-based dressings marketed as a smarter, light option. And some of their products genuinely are cleaner than the Kraft and Hidden Valley fat-free versions. But the flavored sweet varieties, like Honey Mustard Ranch, their Thousand Island, still lean on sweeteners heavily enough that the yogurt-based halo does more PR work than nutritional work. The light and fat-free dressing era was built on a misunderstanding about what made full-fat dressing problematic in the first place. The fat in a good vinaigrette isn't the issue. The soybean oil and the sugar and the stabilizers are the issue. Removing the fat while keeping everything else doesn't fix anything. It just gives the bottle a new color scheme. Walk into Whole Foods or Sprouts, and the dressing aisle feels different. The bottles are smaller, the fonts are friendlier, there are cartoon vegetables and hand-drawn illustrations and words like simple, real, and crafted. Annie's Naturals has been in this space for decades with their own ranch, Caesar, Goddess, balsamic vinaigrette. Newman's Own built an entire charitable empire on the natural positioning. Organicville sits in the health food section of most natural grocery stores. Simple Truth from Kroger, the Whole Foods 365 house brand, Trader Joe's house dressings, all of them occupy this better mental shelf in the consumer's mind. Sometimes that positioning is earned. Sometimes it's mostly graphic design. Annie's Organic Ranch, for example, still uses expeller-pressed canola oil as its base. Organic canola oil is still canola oil, a refined industrially processed seed oil that simply came from a non-GMO seed. The organic designation means the crop wasn't sprayed with synthetic pesticides. It doesn't mean the oil behaves differently in your body, or that the dressing formula is fundamentally simpler. Newman's Own Caesar still leans heavily on soybean oil in many of its creamy varieties. Trader Joe's is an interesting case because they genuinely do have some clean options. Their Green Goddess gets recommended in clean eating circles for good reason, and some that are basically conventional dressings in a Trader Joe's bottle. The 365 Whole Foods line is similarly mixed. The label says organic, but the ingredient deck sometimes includes organic sugar, organic canola oil, and organic natural flavors, doing the same work their conventional cousins do everywhere else. The tell is always the oil. If organic soybean oil or expeller-pressed canola oil is the first fat you see on an organic or natural dressing, the organic certification is mostly about the farming practice. The fundamental product, seed oil plus water plus sweeteners plus stabilizers, hasn't changed. It just has better credentials. Flip the bottle around and ask 4 fast questions. What's the first oil listed? Olive oil or avocado oil means someone made a real choice. Soybean, canola, or just vegetable oil? Means the oil was chosen because it's cheap and stable. Does it separate? Real vinaigrette separates because oil and vinegar were never meant to stay together permanently. If your Italian dressing has been sitting in the fridge for 3 months and never once broken apart, something is holding it together that nature wouldn't. Is there sugar where there shouldn't be? Caesar dressing has no reason to be sweet. If it's sweet and it shouldn't be, that sweetener is just keeping you coming back for more. How long is the ingredient list? A real Caesar is 7 ingredients. A bottled Caesar is usually 25 because it takes an industrial village to replicate what a single egg yolk and a lemon do naturally in a bowl. The oldest salad dressing in the world is also the simplest. The Roman soldiers who ate herba salata weren't reaching for a bottle. They were pouring olive oil, vinegar, and salt over greens and eating. The French codified it into vinaigrette, 3 parts oil to 1 part acid, a touch of Dijon to help the emulsion hold temporarily, salt and pepper. That's the entire formula. It has existed for centuries because it works and because it doesn't need to be anything more complicated. When a vinaigrette is made from good ingredients, the oil is the star. Primal Kitchen makes some of the cleanest bottled vinaigrettes available in mainstream grocery stores. Their Greek and balsamic vinaigrette use avocado oil as the base that behaves similarly to olive oil and doesn't bring the inflammatory concerns that seed oils carry. The ingredient lists are short enough to read in a second. Tessemae's is another brand that consistently earns its place in this lane. Their lemon garlic, red wine vinaigrette, and balsamic dressings are built on olive oil or avocado oil, with short, recognizable ingredient lists. They separate in the bottle because they're supposed to. You shake them, pour them, and what lands on your salad is something close to what you'd make yourself if you had the time and the good olive oil on the counter. Bragg's organic vinaigrette deserves a mention here because it leans on apple cider vinegar as its acid base, something Bragg's has been known for long before gut health became a marketing category. Apple cider vinegar brings a slightly softer, fruitier acidity than red wine vinegar, and when it's paired with olive oil and a little garlic, it creates one of the more interesting, simple dressings you can buy off a shelf. Trader Joe's Orange Muscat Champagne Vinaigrette is one of those quiet grocery store finds that gets passed around in clean eating circles. The ingredient list is shorter than most, the champagne vinegar base is genuinely distinctive, and it manages to be interesting without being a sugar bomb. These vinaigrettes work because they're not trying to be something they're not. They're oil and acid and seasoning. They do their job, coat the vegetables, carry the flavor, make raw greens worth eating, and they don't need 20 additional ingredients to do it. The dressing is a supporting character, not the entire plot. That's what salad dressing was always supposed to be. Creamy dressings get a bad reputation in this conversation because most of the ones people reach for are the Hidden Valley and Ken's versions we covered earlier. But creamy doesn't automatically mean fake. The question is always what's doing the emulsifying? In a real ranch dressing, buttermilk and egg yolk-based mayonnaise hold the whole thing together. The fat is dairy fat and egg fat, things your body has been processing for thousands of years. In a real Caesar, it's the raw egg yolk. In a real blue cheese, it's sour cream or real mayo with enough acidity to stay stable for the meal you're about to eat. When brands build creamy dressings on avocado oil mayo instead of soybean oil emulsions, the entire product changes. Primal Kitchen Ranch is the clearest example of what this looks like done right. It starts with an avocado oil mayo base, real egg yolks, real avocado oil. and builds the ranch flavor from there with herbs, garlic, onion, and apple cider vinegar. The result is something that tastes genuinely like ranch dressing because the underlying fat and emulsifier are real, not manufactured approximations of real. Their Caesar does the same thing: avocado oil, real lemon juice, Dijon mustard, anchovy, and Parmesan doing the actual flavor work instead of natural flavors doing a flavor impression of those things. Tesseme's Ranch and Caesar follow a similar philosophy. Chosen Foods, which has built its brand around avocado oil, brings that same approach to their Ranch and Caesar lines. These aren't fringe health food products anymore. They're in most Whole Foods locations, Target stores, and increasingly in mainstream grocery chains. None of them are identical to the tableside Caesar or the homemade ranch made with fresh buttermilk, but they're playing the same game as the original recipes, just in a bottle. Real fat from a real source, doing the work that fat was always supposed to do in a creamy dressing. For your viewer who loves ranch on everything and isn't going to give it up, but Primal Kitchen Ranch is the answer. Same creamy hit, real ingredients, no EDTA, no soybean oil, no natural flavor pretending to be buttermilk. It does more than Hidden Valley. Most honest food does. The best salad dressing you will ever pour doesn't have a barcode or logo. It has a bowl, a whisk, and about 90 seconds of your attention. Caesar Cardini made his dressing tableside because he had to improvise with what was left in the kitchen. What made it extraordinary wasn't the technique or the theater. It was the fact that every ingredient was doing something real. The egg yolk was the emulsifier. It grabbed the olive oil molecules on one end and the lemon juice on the other and held them together in a temporary, beautiful suspension that broke the moment the meal was over. The Worcestershire brought fermented depth. The lemon brought brightness that no citric acid on an ingredient list has ever replicated convincingly. The Parmesan brought salt, funk, and fat all at once. A basic vinaigrette is even simpler and even more powerful as a daily habit. Take a good olive oil, California Olive Ranch, Kirkland's Extra Virgin, whatever you have, and pour 3 parts into a small bowl. Add 1 part red wine vinegar or a squeeze of fresh lemon, a small spoon of male Dijon mustard, salt, pepper, maybe a crushed clove of garlic if you have 30 extra seconds. Whisk it together and pour it immediately. It separates within minutes because it was never chemically stabilized. That's the feature, not the bug. Bragg's apple cider vinegar as your acid base changes the flavor profile entirely. Slightly sweeter, more complex, with a gut health story that has actual research behind it, rather than just a marketing claim. A good jar of male Dijon brings the emulsifying mustard oils that help the vinaigrette hold together just long enough to dress your salad before it separates back into its honest components. Just make it yourself. You already have the ingredients and a bowl. The whole operation takes less time than it takes to open a bottle, pour it, recap it, and put it back in the fridge. And what you pour on your salad will taste like the reason salad dressing was invented in the first place. Salad was always the healthy choice. The dressing is where it went wrong. Hidden Valley, Ken's, Kraft, and Wishbone replaced buttermilk and olive oil with soybean oil and stabilizers. The candy dressings turned your greens into dessert. The fat-free version swapped fat for sugar and called it progress. And the organic aisle put a bunny on the same formula and charged more for it. Primal Kitchen, Tesseme's, Chosen Foods, and Bragg's are doing it right. And a bowl of olive oil and vinegar on your counter is doing it better than all of them. Comment B2E if you made it to the end and I'll give you a wink. Thanks for watching.